And what's going on, everybody? Your boy Blake Money Blake with another episode of Loaded Joe's MMA podcast. Again, shout outs to all of our sponsors. You can see them all on the logo below. I really don't want to waste too much time on this one, but a shout outs especially to our newest sponsor, Rufiano International, Rufiano Fightwear. Shout outs to them, man. Newest sponsor signing on for one of the best podcasts. I mean, what can I say? Is all I'm saying, man. Tonight's guest. You know me. I like to hook up with local legends, and this guy is no different. This is the main man with the plan at Aces Jiu Jitsu here in Austin, Texas. I got Mikal Abdullah. What you doing, Mikal? How you doing, my man?
Man, I'm doing awesome, brother. I'm just hanging out here at Jiu Jitsu Club. Man, we're about to open up a location in Pflugerville.
Oh shit!
Teach killers. We're the #1 winners team in Austin for a reason, and I'm stoked to be hanging out with you right now.
Yeah, man. It's about time. Motherfuckers like us connected is what I'm saying. And shout outs to Jeffrey Davis for hooking us up, man. Good guy right there.
Yes, Jeff Davis. Man.
Yeah. he always knows somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody, in the words of Ludacris. But Mikal, just for people, they don't know, like I know. Just walk them through real quick, man, a little bit of your background, so before we start talking some jiu-jitsu real quick, man.
Man, former military, wrestling since I was a kid, multiple-time world champion, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, fell in love with coaching, and now own Aces Jiu Jitsu Club, and in addition to some other businesses and projects, things like that.
That's what it is.
If you want me to cut it up real short.
Oh yeah, that's a good condensed. Like if I'm reading the back of your book's life story, right? Like that's the biography that I'm reading real quick, right? Like not the.
Got to pack it tight.
Right. That's a condensed soup version of that. But that's okay. Like, that's what people need to know because we're going to talk some jiu-jitsu type shit real quick. That's why I want to get you on, man, because there's a lot of stuff going on. Not just now. Of course, we got the UFC 210. Mike could touch a little bit on that, but we got the this weekend, right? We got is it the fight to win? Is that they got another one going on this weekend?
I think they do have another fight to win, man. Honestly, I haven't been. I mean,
there's so many of them. Yeah.
He's doing a lot for the sport, pumping so many of those things out. I haven't even looked at the last one. I know we had one a couple weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
One of our guys fought in and won. They fight to win's come a long way. I'll leave it at that.
I'll leave it at that, man. But so much. I want to.
Yeah.
There's so much like. When I tell people and they ask me about like what is the scene here in Texas like, and you can feel free to disagree or not, but the scene as far as MMA goes, I tell them that jiu-jitsu's bigger here in Texas. What do you think about that, man?
I would say, honestly and sincerely, that Texas is the mecca of Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the United States. Perhaps tied with or just a fucking hair behind California.
Yeah.
Right? Like I would say just either a hair or tied with.
Right? Like that's it's a fair assessment for me coming. Like I'm really heavy into MMA and I heavy into the striking sports. So really over the past few years I've honed in on just jiu-jitsu, right? Like I really started with the Metamoris 3, like honing in on just jiu-jitsu. And I've noticed I kind of like open my antennas, you know what I'm saying, to the shit that's going on around here. Yep. And it's like, dude, there's so much, like there's not, I don't say there's not enough MMA, but there's way more jiu-jitsu than there is MMA. It's like jiu-jitsu's really predominant here in Texas. And I guess I've never just been fucking privy to it, right? Like I've just never known, you know what I'm saying? Like, How long have you been in the scene just here in Texas, man? Like, there's a reason you made some shit in Austin happen. You know what I'm saying?
I would say, man, in the words of one of my dear friends from Alabama, you can't swing a dead cat around here without hitting a good organization in Texas. I would say in order to distinguish ourselves, for one, we had to beat everybody else as soon as we opened up. you have some great teams that are like 15 years old and all that kind of stuff. We've been around for 42 months. We're already bigger than everybody else in the area, and we win more. According to math.
Whoa, that's silly.
Yeah. And I'd say part of that, man, is focusing on community building, and teaching real jiu-jitsu with like the way it was meant and originally taught. A lot of the top level guys, it's really interesting. Somebody told me a couple years ago, and I noticed it to be true. The most UFC fighters or higher level MMA fighters are blue belts in jiu-jitsu, not even black belts.
Yeah.
Right? Which is a huge gap. That's why you see somebody like Jacare Souza come through, or Damian Maia come through, and they're like competition level black belt, and they'll end up walking through divisions for
right
and for the large part. But yeah, man, I'd say that's a couple of things that help distinguish us, man. Built a badass community, and we train hard, man.
On the flip side of that, right? Like, you got guys like that, but then you got guys like John Jones, who's not even belted.
Yeah.
And you go to the ground with him. Like, again, I can't think of like a Jacare type person in the division, right? That like he's like really gone to the ground with, but like his jiu-jitsu is outstanding for the ground. Yeah, it's like really, really good. Like,
dude, brother, I mean, he's been tested. What about when he almost
Vitor Belfort almost armbarred him?
Vitor Belfort, yes. No,
yeah.
Dude, he almost fought like Vitor Belfort too as well inside of that same fight. So I think,
and he submitted Vitor with it was a Kimura.
Yeah, it was a Kimura.
Yeah.
And like he almost caught him several times. I mean, he did finish him. I mean, he's an outstanding wrestler, and he's a fucking specimen as well. So, those things also do happen.
It goes both ways, right?
But I don't know if they're the rule, though. I don't know if they're the rule.
Right? Yeah, they're kind of the outlier too, right?
For sure. I mean, Michael Jordan exists, right? But I wouldn't,
Okay.
I wouldn't bet your people fun on that shit.
Right. But then there's also plenty of black belts that never get to the level as far as contendership where Jacare and Damian Maia get to, right? Like there's sometimes they're built up as a black, and then they never get a chance to show it, whether it's one thing or another.
I think a big issue is because a lot of guys training sport jiu-jitsu, I would say coming from a wrestling background as well, I feel like a lot of guys they don't take wrestling as seriously inside of sport jiu-jitsu. And when you combine those two things together, like if your jiu-jitsu is your main thing and you're in the cage and you can't get it to the ground, then what's your jiu-jitsu worth really in that instance, in that situation?
Right. What are you doing with life?
Yeah, man, and it's really tough, man. I mean, that's why one of the reasons I'm excited about this Daniel Cormier fight with Rumble.
Rumble Johnson.
Rumble's a great guy, but he's a great guy. I'm pulling for DC on this one though.
Oh no, okay.
He can get it to the ground.
No, yeah.
I feel like I saw shade via Skype.
There was so much salt. There was so much salt that was just thrown with my eyes, right? Like it was just salt.
Salt. It was pixelated, but I felt it.
See, and it's not that I don't like DC, right? Like I think he's probably the nicest guy in the UFC. But I also feel like if there's ever a time to I don't feel like it's anything to do with his talent. I just feel like if there's ever a time to beat DC, it's when he's 38. It's when he's coming off of injuries. It's when all of his camp is falling apart. It's when he doesn't have the training partners he needs to train with, right? Like the consistency as far as training partners, like the consistency of a Kane, the consistency of Luke. The morale factor cannot be high at AKA from what I hear. Like there's just
Brother, he's got Popeye. He's got Popeye. And I feel like you're sleeping on the power of the Popeye.
Did you just pull a 2-piece Tuesday?
I just did, and I believe you're sleeping on it.
I'm-
and I kind of feel like you need to apologize to
I mean,
Papa.
I know he likes that cake and chicken, right? Like I get it,
Yeah,
right? Like
yeah,
I know, you know what I'm saying? But in the
yeah.
words of my boy Renato Larange, porra caralho, man. Like I'm saying, if there's ever a time for
Yeah.
Anthony to win, if there's ever a time, this is like the best time to do it. I'm hoping it happens. Can it happen or will it happen? I'm probably against the odds in this one, right? In my thinking. So probably the popular belief and probably what will happen is DC probably will win. But if there's ever a time for Anthony to win, right, it's now.
I mean, yeah. If there ever was a time, if ifs and butts were fishes and nuts,
Oh,
right?
okay,
That
okay.
was very crisp. The so his ability to, and he kind of showed himself this last fight, this last outing. He's got devastating hands. He's got great footwork. He is an intelligent striker. I think that, but the gap to get that much better at wrestling and jiu-jitsu is just like not. It's difficult and very technical, man, and it takes a lot of like learning and pressure sensitivity, and I don't see anybody outstanding with Rumble right now. I mean, that's
right.
I mean, he hasn't really showcased his ability to get it down there like that.
I totally get it.
Outside of knocking you the fuck out, which cheers to him for that. Like, I mean, kudos. Right? But DC has hands too, so I mean,
I mean, he got some hands, but I mean, there's not cinder blocks, like like.
I agree.
Okay.
I can see that point.
Like he does things with his hands, but
when Rumble hits you, you rumble. I get it.
Right? And I mean, again, he obviously he can't bank on the fact like it's going to be a one and done. And he's come out like there was a statement that I was watching the Dan Hardy breakdown today where he does, for people who don't know, if you go to UFC, Dan Hardy, John Gooden, they do like these 30-minute breakdowns, which are really, I think they're always fucking fantastic. I don't know if you get a chance to watch them yourself. They're really well done. But they're hosted by UFC, so obviously they have all the UFC footage. And it's actually Dan Hardy breaking down, and they have John Gooden like, okay, this person tweeted this question, so we're going to ask this question from Will Martin. He's fucking doing the, the fucking whatever. Thank you, man. I sometimes talk to myself, whatever. I have John Gooden narrate my life. But anyways, so they do that. They do this back and forth. Obviously, Dan Hardy being the color, John Gooden just being the normal commentator. And Dan Hardy really he broke down DC's wrestling and just these little minute details, not like everything, but like in detail, these certain fragments of the last fight where it's just these little details of where his foot is and where his hip is, where his hand is, where his control is from the back, like things that normal fighters wouldn't do or people that are not as experienced wouldn't do. So I totally agree with you. There's these little minute things that'll set a grappler apart, from this much to like light years, right? Like for real. I totally get it, man. And I totally get you're a grappler, so you're gonna go with DC. But for real, like
you just threw like inherent MMA bias. I see what happened. I saw that.
If ever there was a podcast to do it, it would be this one, though, right?
That's all I wanted. No, man. I mean, I love striking. Been striking for a lot of years. Fought Muay Thai for several years as well. Like, I mean, I get it, man.
Yeah.
I just if you, I mean, we're gonna find out.
We are,
right?
yeah.
But I don't. It's hard. It's hard to hit Cormier inside of range, which is what John Jones was really good at, because he was really good at sticking his footwork and punches at the end, placing his punches at the end, which gave him a lot of force, and also, I mean, put him outside of well outside of Daniel Cormier's range. So he was. I mean, and I would say that's one of the few things that really gave DC problems.
Yes.
And Rumble doesn't have that.
No, you're right.
So that being said, it'll be interesting to see what new thing Rumble brings, considering he's a talented fighter and a smart guy. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of edge he tries to bring, because if he just got better at the things he's good at, they still don't match. I think.
I like
right. If I equation.
Right, for sure. I mean, I like this, man. I think I'm gonna start to have you just break down some grapplers every time we got a UFC, man. Like little shit, break down. We have this discussion, right? Because this is interesting. Like I don't think I would have. I thought the conversation was gonna go. I'm not saying I dislike this. Like I really, really like this because I like talking technical talk. I'm more of a striker fan. I'm more trained, more or less, right? Like you can see the double end bag behind, right? Like I'm more of a striking fan, but it's interesting having on somebody who notices the little minute differences, like a coach like yourself, you know what I'm saying? For us to be able to discuss these things, man. So I really like this. So I'm guessing we got you going with DC. I'm going with Rumble, and we'll see who the winner is, man. I like this.
Hey, man. Hey, we're gonna be at third base in Round Rock, dude.
Okay.
Celebrating the opening our new Pflugerville location. So why don't you come on out?
What am I
We'll
doing
watch
Saturday?
it together.
I don't know if I can Saturday, man. Not this Saturday, but we will. I guarantee we will link up for a UFC.
It's 2017. We are one Facebook message away at the end of the fight.
I love it, man.
All right, we're like one to 5 emojis or GIFs away.
I'm about to say or GIF. If anybody knows me, I love to send memes and GIFs. I'm mean on a keyboard with that, man.
Or GIFs, one of the other.
I love it, man. Mikal, I like to do a little thing, man, closer to the end of the podcast. Is if you've seen it's called Random Ass Questions. So I like to just ask some random ass questions, man, and kind of wrap it up that way, man. Okay, first random ass question. Favorite drink at the bar?
Do it. Old fashioned. I know you like old fashioned.
Oh!
Yep.
Yes, man.
Yes, all day old fashions. I'm real particular about mine. I dig the rye, but I'm a Buffalo Trace bourbon man.
Well, I mean, if you're gonna not do rye, it's acceptable, right? Like that's kind of like a new school old fashioned. Yeah, we're in Austin. I guess that's an acceptable. Anywhere outside of Austin, I don't know if that's an acceptable answer. I'd be very.
I don't wear a scarf in summer or anything.
But you don't wear a bow tie or anything like that. Like don't go looking at your profile pics.
I do wear a bow tie.
I know you do.
I do wear a bow tie.
I'm not gonna say I Facebook stalk you. I'm just saying. Had to do my research. Favorite. I want to know this, man. Favorite jiu-jitsu player of all time, man.
Favorite jiu-jitsu player of all time besides myself?
Obviously, you're my favorite, right? Yeah. But who is your favorite?
I would say my favorite would have to be. Oh man. Shoot, man. I mean, like right now or of all time, that's difficult, man. I would say of all time. I would say, man, honestly, it would be between my personal coach, Coach Moeller, Alan Moeller out of Dallas.
Okay.
First American black belt for Team Alliance, number one winningest team on the planet. And between his coach, which is Jacare, the original Jacare, man.
Oh.
He built Team Alliance, winningest team on the planet for several years in a row, and Team Alliance has popped out so many like high level players, like it's a factory. Just like boom, boom, boom. Like, and it's for a reason, man. The culture is fantastic. The technique is impeccable.
My style's impregnable. Everything like Mike Tyson said. I love it, man. I know where you're going with this. See, hey. I'm telling you, man. We're there. You know. Favorite movie of all time.
Man, favorite movie. Princess Bride.
That is the first time I think I've heard that. Like, I'm not it's a bad answer, but there's a lot of that's a really good choice. I like that. Okay. 3 artists you got to have on your playlist when you're jiu-jitsu when you're working out.
Drake, definitely.
Okay, yeah.
I would say, you know what? Boom. Can I cheat?
You can totally cheat, man. Look at this. It's an open book test, man. Come on.
This is my. I'm doing it.
Okay.
I'm literally going into my playlist
pulling
for
out
you. I don't go into the playlist for everybody.
I mean, you know, I definitely appreciate this.
RJD2.
Okay.
I actually introduced him to jiu-jitsu.
Fantastic.
And Kendrick Lamar. Mad City.
I like it, man. What's that new one he's got out? I was just jamming it earlier today. He's got a new one out, and it's really dope. Okay. If they were to make a movie about your life, who would play you?
Man. It would be Idris Elba. It would definitely.
Okay. I like him, man. I like him. He's sweet.
And he'd be in a tuxedo.
Yeah, that's the only way he could do it with the bow tie, right?
With the bow tie. If you want to play me accurately.
With an old fashioned in one hand, got the bow tie on the neck.
Yeah.
I love it, man.
Absolutely.
I love
it. And he does the entire movie in emojis in the bottom right hand corner. the whole movie.
Just never talks. Just emojis and gifs.
No, the whole thing. Emojis and stares at the camera and old fashioned. Right. That's the whole movie.
If anybody could pull it off, I think it would be Idris Elba playing you with a bow tie and an old fashioned. I'm just saying, like if anybody could do it.
I think so.
Celebrity crush.
Celebrity crush. Oh man, I'm gonna go for the answer that you might not have seen coming.
Okay.
My chick is a celebrity in my world, man. So she's definitely.
He pulled that one. He pulled that one. That's okay, man. That's okay. Jesus still loves you, man.
I went there.
I love it.
What's up?
I said Jesus still loves you, man. Thank you.
I mean, no, it's I used to live in LA, man. And you get to meet a bunch of people, and you're like, dude, it gets played out. There's a reason I came back to Austin.
Right. Naturally, man, because it's the best place in the fucking world. Naturally.
Dude, it is.
I try to tell people, man. You don't believe it till you leave.
Yes, exactly. If you don't believe it, go back to LA.
I love it, man. Final question here: if you weren't doing jiu-jitsu, you weren't teaching, you weren't where you're at, you weren't winning, what would you be doing, man?
Oh, bro, so I'm of a huge belief that happiness is truly real when it's shared, and so anytime I get good at something and it provides me with happiness, I want to share it. Yeah. So whatever I like jiu-jitsu, I get really good at it and some stuff, and then I'm like, hey guys, this is how I did it. I'm an entrepreneur, so I own other businesses where I teach people how to start businesses, how to scale their businesses, build Facebook funnels and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So pretty much, man, if I wasn't, it's hard to even imagine a world. So to me, jiu-jitsu is not just the stuff I do on the mat, right?
Okay.
It's how we overcome obstacles. So that's a tough. You threw me for a loop on that one. I don't believe there's a world that exists where I'm not teaching jiu-jitsu, whether it's on or off the mat.
Okay, that's an interesting answer though, right? Because like you answered it but didn't. But I like it though because it's still kind of acceptable, right? Because he's like, I'm still jiu-jitsuing wherever I'm at in life. And then it's just like David Blaine. He's like, I'm out, so. I love it, man. I love Mikal, man. I want to thank you so much, man. I'm glad we linked up. I know this is all kind of threw this together in the last week, but I want to thank you for taking the time. Again, I hope we could do this. Anytime there's a big fight, we could talk some technique talk and just link up. Hopefully, we will get an old fashioned soon. But for the meantime, so it doesn't look. No, we got to do it, man. Just so it don't look though like I'm kissing your ass too much. Let people know where they can find you online, where they can find Aces, all that good shit, man. Shout out everything. The floor is yours right now. Take over my show real quick.
Done. And anybody can find me at acesjujitsuclub.com. Either, just go to the .com, or you can look us up on Facebook. You can also look me up personally on Facebook and catch my Mindset Mondays, Wealth Wednesdays, and Fridays at Coach Mikal on Facebook.
I love it, man. I love it. Coach.
And that's spelled Mikal.
Mikal. That's right, man. I love it. Just so that way they don't get mistaken. Mikal. Aces Jiu Jitsu is a place here in Austin, Texas. Mikal, I want to thank you so much, man, for coming on and just linking up with me this last week, man. It's been awesome, brother. And let's do this again, man.
We're doing it. I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on, brother, and sharing the positive vibes and some good chat.
Man. For sure, man. You do have a good rest of the day. Train hard, train safe, brother, and I'll stay in touch, man.
Let's do it.
All right, brother. You have a good rest of the night, my man. Peace, brother.
Peace.